So part 10 of the Dan Pena QLA seminar review series. We are on part 10 now. This is a series that you're watching. If you have not watched the previous videos, I highly recommend that you start from part 1 to have a full context and to have a complete understanding. There is a lot of details that might be useful to you in your business journey. So please do that. If you stumbled upon this video, and you should know that this video is part of a series. So start with part 1 and watch it from there for the best outcomes. Also, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button because I will be uploading one video every day. And the topics range from business, motivation, productivity, negotiation, and various other powerful business strategies that I learned from Dan Pena and also some other very well-known business mentors. So if you want to be educated on those content, and if you want to know the secrets of people who have been exposed to multi-million dollar deals, hit that subscribe button and you will receive a video every day. So without further ado, let's get back to our story. Now, here I am. I just closed a partnership with this entrepreneur who built a 500 million pound business from nothing. He was a refugee, he was uneducated, he didn't finish school, and here he was sitting on top of the empire of 500 million pounds. I stumbled upon him and I pitched him to be my business partner, and he said yes. And now I'm in Dubai, and my goal is to find a healthcare CEO, and that's what Dan Pena had advised. You need someone who has expertise in the industry that you're going in. So now I have my industry selected, and I have someone, a powerful figure, brand name as chairman. And now I can leverage these two things, and I can create a business vision of my business, and I can sell this vision to someone. So I sat down, I quickly, start writing some notes, start finding industry studies, and I start pulling out data, and I compiled a presentation. Nothing too fancy because, as Dan Pena says, a business plan never fails on paper. So don't waste too much time, making a business plan, because we had already gone through in detail what the strategy is going to be. So we were simply supposed to present the strategy as we learned and as it has worked with so many people, and just present that to the potential board members or the dream team as we had discussed. So I was ready with my presentation. I had never done this in my life except for the time when I just talked to my chairman. And now it was the time to find the industry expert. So I went on LinkedIn, I started messaging, I started to put in the titles and started message a lot of people and started to try and get meetings. And I didn't know if people, you're reaching out to someone online. I didn't know if they would come for a coffee with me. My LinkedIn profile did not have a very elaborate CV. I had not been in a job in my life. I always was involved in businesses. I was involved in a dating business, so I didn't write much about that on my LinkedIn. And I just didn't know that people with 25, 30 years of experience in their industry that has led them to become CEOs of companies will take a meeting with me. I just didn't think that would happen. But so there was a lot of doubts going on in my mind, but because I had seen Dan Pena talk about these little kids easily getting board members, I started to write messages to a lot of them. And we were told that QLA is a numbers game, so you've got to keep talking to people and not get too attached, with the outcome. Just keep talking to people, you will find someone who believes in you. So, couple of things around the dream team members. One of the very important lesson that Dan Pena said, one of the mistakes people make is while choosing their business partners is that they choose business partners that they feel most comfortable with. They choose business partners that are very much like them. So if they are introvert, they'll find a business partner who's also introvert. If they are financially unsuccessful, they feel comfortable with someone who's also financially unsuccessful. You always feel comfortable with people who are just like you. So he said, do not do that. You got to find people who are the antithesis of you. You want people who are outside of your comfort zone. You want people, you want names that you don't have to explain about. If you go to a bank with these people's names, they should know who they are. The bank should know who they are. They have been in the industry and they have been in the region. They should know who they are. Do you want those names? And just the idea of that kind of scared me, that I will be dealing with people with very bold characters, and I was very introverted and shy at that time and low confident. So to now deal with healthcare CEOs who have 30 years of experience and strong leadership skills, that was pretty scary for me. But I anyway took meetings. So the first meeting I had, it wasn't someone who was very bold and very outrageous and very, like how Dan Pena mentioned. He was a CEO of a small healthcare company. But he said, even if he's not someone that you want to do business partnership with, just go to the meeting and get used to practice, just get used to giving presentations. They will ask you questions that you don't know answers to, and you will shut up and you will not know how to answer because this is the first time you're doing. But after each presentation, you will know how to answer those questions. And by the time you get to the right guy, you're very well prepared. So I just took a couple of meetings with a few CEOs. They didn't really strike me with someone that could make my dream happen. and frankly, I didn't see that they were the people that could take the company into hundreds of millions of dollars. That's what my goal was. And I ultimately wanted to become a billionaire. So I didn't see, if I look at a person, I have to see it that, yes, when the company becomes as big as $1 billion or a couple of $100 million, is this the guy that took it there, or is this the guy I will have at that stage? If the answer is no, that's not the guy. You want guys who, once you have a company of that big size, who you would hire at that time, you want them now. So you bring the future into the present, and that's how you operate. So I couldn't see them, but I practiced my presentation. I got rid of the skepticism that they had. This is a young guy. What did you do? What's your background? And that's one of the questions they will ask you. What's your background? What have you done in the past? Why should we get into a business partnership with you? And they will be skeptical. They'll ask you a lot of questions, and they will challenge you. They will challenge your business idea. They will challenge your credibility. And QLA business model is very unconventional. So not everybody has been exposed to it. You would be surprised as to how many senior executives do not know how QLA system works. If they knew, they would do it themselves. But they might know a small aspect of the whole machine, but they don't know how the entire machine works. It's very strange. I know someone with 30 years of experience doesn't know all the parts of it, but that's true. They just know their role in that machine. They don't know how the entire machine works. They have some idea, but not all the details. But you have the keys to the kingdom, thanks to QLA. So I was there in that position where, and the whole dynamic of the conversation has to be you interviewing them. It can't be them just challenging you. You got to flip the table, and you got to do these meetings. That's what Dan Pena said, in high prominent places, high end places. You want to do a meeting in Ritz Carlton, Four Seasons. You want to create an impression. You want to be dressed up in a suit. You don't go in a t-shirt to meet a CEO. And you got to play on the perception. Perception is reality. So I did all of that, and I could see that they were scared of me. Some of them were scared of me, and they were not the guys, to be frank. But I did my presentation, and finally, I found one guy. He was the CEO of General Electric Healthcare. So General Electric is a massive company, and it has a healthcare division. And he was the CEO of the entire healthcare division in UAE, in GCC, in the entire Gulf region. And I saw him, I Googled his name, I reached out to him on LinkedIn. He replied, and we set up a call. The call went well, and he said, let's meet on Monday. I said, okay. And then I checked who he is. And this guy has done deals with, some very high-powered people in UAE. I saw him, he was all over Google. He was in the news. And this was a heavy hitter, I could see. And so I was excited. He was my second big guy after the chairman that I was going to talk to. And we meet at the Fairmont Hotel, and he comes up in a, Maserati, in a sports car. And while I was going to that meeting, I almost wanted to puke, because it was so scary for me to meet someone like that. And I was thinking about all the questions he would ask me. Will he try to interrogate me? Will he try to expose my past, or will he try to dig into it too much? And I was really scared, and I saw him, and he had a big smile on his face, very charismatic person. And he just shook my hand. He said, how are you doing? And, I read your a presentation, very interesting. And he was very enthusiastic right off the bat. And he was very supportive, and he was very encouraging. And he didn't ask me that many questions. He just asked me high level. So he says, so you want to take over Dubai, huh? With the healthcare industry. Nice, nice. I like your enthusiasm. How old are you? And then I told him my age, and he said, okay, you remind me of my young days. And he was very nice. And he said, yes, I would like to add value, and I would like to be an advisor and help you out, what you're doing. Like, very positive, upbeat, non-skeptical, didn't ask that many questions, and he was just closed within like 15, 20 minutes. And we had a drink, and he left, and I saw him go in his nice sports car, and he left, and I was like, whoa. That day when I went home, everything changed. I saw, now first I closed the $500 million guy, and then I closed him. It's too good to be true. I never thought these guys would take a meeting with me, and now they are getting into business partnerships with me. And so that was life-changing.